Welcome to the original Gangsters podcast. I'm your host, Scott Burnstein. This is going to be a real quick hitter edition because we don't have a ton of information, but we got enough to tell you another murder in Montreal. We're not sure how or if this has to do with the peace treaty that we've exclusively reported on between the Hells Angels and the Rizzuto mob that took place last month at a fancy Italian restaurant called Demi. But this week in Montreal, a support club member, guy by the name of Antoine de Marjorie Blaise, 37 years old, was a part of a Hells Angels support club called the um, Full Metal or Full Metal Jacket Motorcycle Club, was killed in a professional hit. I believe his 4-year-old or 5-year-old son was in the car when assassins came in and blew him away. So it's a brutal, gruesome way to go, especially with your progeny being present. A lot of speculation right now on what this means. Does this mean that the peace treaty is out the window? I don't think so. I've been talking to a lot of people, and they don't believe that this is directly connected to any of that, possibly indirectly. We spoke earlier this month about what we were dubbing, the last hit of the war down in Mexico. Uh, Belanger, the beard Belanger, who was killed in Mexico around Christmas. Um, but in terms of Marjorie Blaze, this could really mean anything. He wasn't a full patched Hells Angel member. Some of the reports in the French Canadian press right now are reporting him as a member of the Hells Angels. He was not. He's not tied, from what we can glean right now, he's not tied to any major shot callers. He's not somebody that Marty Robert knew personally. Um, so we're still trying to figure out what exactly happened. I mean, this was a professional hit. He was a one percenter. He was connected in one way, shape, or form to 81 Nation Hell's Angels. But the one thing I'll say is what we do know is that making the peace was probably the easy part, especially at the highest level. Where things get a little bit more complex, and I think we'll eventually find out that this, represents a little of what I'm about to say in terms of complexities, is that you had all these street gangs and proxies that were lining up in the last couple of years, either behind the Hells Angels or behind the Rizzutos. And these were groups that weren't always necessarily involved in at this elite level of organized crime. They were, guys that were at the lowest rungs, if at all, connected. And in some cases, they weren't connected at all. They were just street gangs going about their own business. But because of the biker mafia war that lasted for 2 years, a lot of these groups linked up and started fighting as proxies for one side or the other. And what we reported from the peace conference was that the issue that everybody foresaw as being a little bit more, um, you know, I keep on saying complicated, but just thorny, and it's kind of like a knot that gets all knotted up, and then you gotta break it up and untie the knot. And I don't know how easy that is when you're talking about these kind of street cowboys that aren't anywhere near the level of sophistication or mindset or vision or temperament as the top guys on either side of whether the Hells Angels or the Rizzutos. These are just they're gangbangers, and I don't know how easy it is to just press a button and tell everyone to stop, especially if from the bigger picture and the bigger conflict, smaller conflicts develop. So we don't know if this murder had anything to do with that dispute, if it had to do with it indirectly, or if this was just a personal beef. But definitely needed to tell everyone about what happened. This happened on Wednesday, um, I believe the 14th or 15th, Wednesday the 15th. Um, and we'll as we learn more, we'll tell you. But right now, Full Metal Jacket Motorcycle Club member Antoine de Marjorie Blaze has been killed, gangland style, in Montreal in front of his 5-year-old son. And we're still trying to sort out the specifics and the particulars. But he, in one possible narrative here, it could be, we said the Belly J hit was the last hit. Maybe this is the last hit. On the other hand, maybe, I guess it's possible the peace treaty fell apart. I don't think that's what happened. But again, we'll learn more. But a murder in Montreal, Hell's Angel affiliate, he's gone. You know, it's tragic. But I was talking to Benny off air. The stuff that's going on in Canada, this is more like cartel stuff than mafia biker stuff. It's just the bloodshed has become so commonplace, and it's just, it seems desensitized with bodies dropping so frequently. So we'll keep you updated. Um, Please like, share, and subscribe the OG Pod. Go over to our Patreon members only, where we're doing a lot of unique content over there, uh, breaking down the history of the Midwest Mafia with a member of American organized crime that's never told their story before, Nove Toko out of Detroit. So check that out. And then always check back here at OG Pod for the latest breaking news when it comes to anything related to the mafia, the biker world, or drug kingpins. We're on top of it. Scott Burnstein, OG Pod, uncovering the underworld, one city, one region at a time, one country, one city, one region, one country at a time. I'm Scott Burnstein. I'm out.